Mic check 1 2 1 2. What up, man? It's your boy T Woods checking in back for another episode of Words of Woods. If you haven't done this already, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And on today's episode, man, I haven't seen this person in a minute. We went to school together. A style expert. Fashionista, if I'm saying it right.
Yes,
To say the least, man. I definitely commend her for just being consistent and just putting out content. I can honestly say, I look up to you in a way,
I am
I
honored.
commend your effort and just, I applaud you for just, putting the work in. That a lot of people who don't create content, they don't know what goes into just.
I didn't even know what goes into it.
But are we going to get into all that, man? I got to you're going to introduce yourself.
Yes.
Who are you and what brings you here today on Words of Woods?
My name is Afi Elizabeth, and I like to call myself a style expert, not a YouTuber, because it's like.
So I got it right.
Yes.
Style expert.
Yes. I create content on YouTube such as fashion, everyday fashion, hair tutorials, and that's about it.
So, for the people that don't know you, give us a little brief summary about who you are, and you already explain what you do and just how'd you get to the point to where you doing what you're doing now?
Well, it started when I was in 5th grade. Yeah, in 5th grade. We lived in a small town called Proctorville, Ohio.
Okay,
so that's like,
I ain't gonna lie to you, I never
exactly. Nobody knows where that is.
I've never.
It's like a tri-state area, so it's like Huntington, West Virginia, and then there's Kentucky, and then there's Ohio.
Okay.
So it's like, I would say now it's a little bit mixture of black people, but when we lived there, it was like 2% black. So you didn't have a hair salon, you didn't have anything black in that area. So I had to figure it out myself. So that was at the time where YouTube started, getting out there, but they weren't really creating hair tutorials or videos, more like makeup tutorials.
Mm-hmm.
So I did have those moments where I'll go to a salon because we moved from North Carolina, so I had like those like black beauty salon book. I don't know if you have
I know what you talking about.
Those things.
Yeah.
So I would just sit in front of the mirror and I'll just try to mimic and try to copy a style. And my background, I have a lot of aunts and cousins who do hair, so I surrounded myself around them. So just by watching and observing, I kind of got into the whole hair. And then from there, I started to watch a lot of TVs, watching commercials. American Next Top Model was one of my favorite shows. So I started watching that.
I have a confession, I used to watch that.
Did you?
So we didn't always have cable in my household growing up. I remember American Next Top Model used to come on the CW network. I used to watch it with my mom.
Yeah.
That's a confession.
Ours was UPN in North Carolina.
And I used to watch Sex and the City too, but that's just another conversation.
See, all that, just by watching all those shows, it kind of got me into like, oh, I want to be that. I want to be that. So I started doing more like playing with my Barbie's hair and changing their outfits, and I got into fashion like that. And then from there on, I don't know, it just happened. Like, it was just one of those things that started as a hobby, and then they turned into, let me check out YouTube since everybody's doing it. I remember one time I was laying in bed and I was like, I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want people to see what I'm doing, so I can do that. So that's just how I got started, just figuring things out on my own.
So I know we went to the same school together. But I know in school you were pursuing like sports broadcasting, right?
Was.
So like, what happened with that, man? I remember I used to see you at the games and stuff when you're reporting thing. I was like, damn, that's cool. Like I'm not saying I would do it, but it was interesting to me because it was just like, wow, like. You gotta be at the games. You gotta like know. And as a woman, they don't give women credit as far as knowing about sports.
I came up with a lot of ideas in that radio station, and
Man.
I never got credit for it. I got credit for some of them, but not like, oh, Afi came up with that.
All right, so let me ask you this before we get into the sports broadcasting and everything like that. So, are you a person that obviously it's you want to get credit, in life in general. But are you, like, is credit everything to you? Like, is it that serious if you don't get your credit for something that you believe that you deserve when it comes down to getting your credit?
It's not that serious, but if I'm in a male-dominated field, I would like my credit. Because a lot of people who watch sports think a man knows it all. So that to me is like, okay, you didn't know anything when you started. And I'm over here telling you all these stats. I'm telling you about this player. At least let me, be part of the rewards club.
At least let me be part of the conversation. Like, give me my flowers while I'm here.
But if it's like a everyday, I don't really like being the, oh, she did it. I like to be behind the camera and just sit back, and I know what I did, and I know my work. So it's like, okay, I'm going to let this person have it.
You let the work speak for itself.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, they know where the talent is. Like, you can mimic anything from somebody else, but where it actually came from is really different, if that makes sense.
And, I mean, everybody does certain things different. So it's like, okay, if I'm not going to get my credit, or if you're going to mimic something that I do, you're not going to do it like me.
The original.
You know, it's just like, you know, you can have knockoff Louis Vuitton, but it ain't going to be the real Louis Vuitton. Exactly. You know, you can have knockoff Gucci, but it ain't the real Gucci. Exactly. So, you know, I understand. But, you know, to get back to what I was saying, you know, asking you just what happened with the sports broadcasting. I know you just, let's talk about it.
I'm still pursuing it, but I'm pursuing it low-key.
So, and let me ask you this. Did you lose the passion for it, or it's just kind of a...
I wouldn't say I lost the passion for it, because I'm a sports person. I've always loved sports, and I still see myself broadcasting sports in the future. But I feel like I've kind of pivoted towards other things, especially with quarantine. I didn't want it to just... Especially quarantine and graduating kind of got me into like, okay, I don't want to be in one box. I want my income to come from different places, not just the sports field. So with that, it wasn't that, you know, I lost interest. It was just I got into other things like politics, fashion, and sports. So when people look at your resume, it's like, oh, you can do this, you can do that, you can do that.
You want to be versatile.
Yeah, I want to be that. So with sports, I still like it, but I don't think it's there, like the love of my life anymore. It's
How'd you get
there.
into sports? Just growing up, you just like, did you play sports?
I played sports growing up.
Okay, what sports did you play?
I played basketball.
Okay.
Basketball was my key, but I also played volleyball and I ran track. But with basketball is that's where my talent was more. I was more shining.
So you're not new to this.
I'm not. So, I'm true to that.
Okay, so she knows what she's talking about because she's been there. She's played it. She's ran suicides before. She knows the hard work.
I've had that one player that always made everybody run, and you just sit there and like, listen.
So you wasn't the player that made everybody run.
I was a player that people didn't like.
Okay, why is that?
I am very passionate.
Okay.
So sometimes it comes off very aggressive. So it's like, I want you to succeed at what you're doing. So if you're missing layups, it's like, bro, what are you doing? Yeah. Like, nobody's guarding you.
That's the fundamentals.
Yeah, like nobody's guarding you.
Get it together.
Get it together. If you missing a pass and it's going right past your fingers, you're like, bro, like.
So you was the Chris Paul, Patrick Beverly of the team, the person that. It's like,
nobody
man, I know
like.
she going. Yeah.
And the thing about girls basketball is like, with boys, you can go off on your players on the court and off the court. You got
girls,
cool.
you gotta be a little bit more delicate.
Girls, if you go off on her for missing a layup in the locker room, they're looking at you sideways like
they're gonna take it personal.
They do, and then your whole day is ruined in school. You just like, dang, maybe I shouldn't have said what I said.
Yeah, it's gonna lead like. In the gym, is going to lead to outside the gym, and now it's like, all right, we got beef. And then it goes
to Facebook, and you just like, you didn't have to care.
I was just trying to hold you accountable and get us better. That's all it is.
Right.
All right, let me ask you this. How do you feel about, you know, obviously being a woman in sports, you know, how do you feel about, I've seen lately that a lot of women are becoming like coaches. A lot of women are, you know, being refs in, you know, professional leagues like NFL, NBA, and stuff like that. How do you feel about that? Just, you know, women in sports just evolving. And I want to ask you too, you probably seen this just about the whole NCAA tournament controversy, you know, with with the locker room and stuff. So how do you feel about that? You know, you already said, you know, women don't get the credit they deserve and they don't get treated how they should. How do you feel overall?
So your first question, how I feel about women leading in sports, I feel great. I really do feel great. And I also feel kind of, I don't know, my anxiety builds up a little bit because we tend to look down on women when it comes to coaching a men's basketball team. So when it comes to women and men, we look at it like it's not the same. So there's no way you can bring what you learn on the girl's side to the men's side. And that to me is like, okay, what kind of sports are you watching? But overall, I feel great. I'm actually like inspired because that actually motivates me to actually pursue my broadcasting career. Whether it's ESPN, whether it's whatever sports it is. It makes me want to not just stick to basketball, but also go with football, know my games, and really do study. Because if you got a woman coach in the NFL league, and then you have a woman coach in an NBA league, like, that tells you, like, you can't just be stuck. Yeah, you can do anything. Like, you can do it. Like, you really can. You really can. And then the second question was the NCAA tournament. That itself kind of irritated me when I saw it. Like, I was one of those people. It wasn't. I actually had an argument with one of my friends. I don't know why they brought this up. They came to the wrong person, but they mentioned how they don't see the difference why we are arguing about this because girls don't lift weights. But really, it's like, have you seen some of these girls on the basketball team? Yeah. Like, some of them don't even see themselves as women. Like, how can you give us, like, these little tiny dumbbells, and then you go to the men's side, and then you want to argue saying that, oh, we don't have enough space. Well, you just gave the entire gym to the guys. Like, that's me.
And I've seen, they show, like, it was so much empty, open space that they didn't utilize.
And it didn't just carry to that. It also carried to the food.
Mm-hmm. Like, oh, yeah, I seen the food.
I was like really? Disgusting. Like,
looked like where they were in the bubble.
And I've actually lived to that point where I'm like, yeah, it happens. It really does happen. Like, if you play female sports, women's sports, you actually get a chance to witness that. Like, when we played college tournaments, because I also, like, well, high school, you go into the college stadiums and you play high school tournaments. You actually do see the difference with the men's tournaments and the females tournaments. First, with the crowds. That itself, it's a whole different game, which made me really dislike playing women's basketball at some points because it was like, well, we're playing all this, you know, we're doing all this practice, but when it comes to game time, nobody's there. Yeah. So it's like, dang, like, what was going on? But we attend every guy's basketball game. So that to me was like, listen, this is not the first time I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen plenty of times. So it just irritates me that we're now in 2020, just when we had Kobe Bryant being the leader for all this, he passes away, and we're back to square one. I wouldn't say we're back to square one, but it's just.
So do you think in the future it gets better, or do you think it gets worse?
I feel like it will get better. It depends on who is there to help us get where we need to get. Yeah,
I feel like it takes that one person to really step up and be the face and the person that's determined. I believe, obviously, women are going to continue to, put it out there that, we need help, we need assistance, we need more light and whatever it is that we may be going through. But I believe it takes a strong, man that's respected in the sports community to step up to, change things.
And that was one reason why I respected Kobe Bryant, because it was like he didn't really, it's not that he did it for his daughter, but kind of, but then again, he also looked at the entire, what is there that's making us different? We have there's lack of support in the men's basketball, in the women's basketball team than there is men's basketball team. When you talk about advertisement, when you talk about crowds, when you talk about their salary, I understand when females, when it comes to physical well-being, I guess we're not as strong as men.
Yeah, you're not out there dunking everything.
We're not dunking, but we're still working as hard. A woman can go home but you go home and you cater to your family, and then you got to go back and work out take your body through process that you can't even do if you come out of pregnancy. It's just
that's one thing I really do respect. Man, you gotta still be a mother, and then if you're a professional athlete as well, and you gotta do all of that, and still man, I commend it for sure. And it's just it does suck though, say if you do get pregnant, you gotta miss out on the season. Yeah. Or, that does
just getting your body back into how it was. It's even harder for that. But then you're talking about women shouldn't be treated the same. It's just really. Yeah.
Well, I hope it gets better. Maybe they need you to be at the forefront in the face just to. I don't
know. When it comes to basketball, my anger's.
You got a temper problem.
So it's I don't know. It's gonna take a lot for me to be like.
So you was the player getting texts.
No, I wasn't actually. I was that quiet player, but when it came to the game, I was loud.
Okay.
So it wasn't like, that person that badmouth his coach. Like, I had my moments where, like, I'll say underneath my breath.
Yeah.
But I was
still respectful.
But you wasn't
outright disrespectful.
Yeah, I was still respectful because I knew somewhere somebody's watching. So that was just me.
Okay. All right, well. Hey, who knows? But let's talk about fashion. What intrigued you about fashion? What was that very moment that you knew, like, fashion is just something that I love to talk about. I love to make content about. I like to just style myself, and I want to inspire to style others to, step their fashion up.
Being around my mom.
Okay.
I grew up, I got to take you back.
All right, let's take us back. Take me
back
to the roots with it.
So I was born in Congo.
Okay.
And when I was about a year or something, my dad came here in the United States to finish school. So I grew up with my mom. So, like, everything that I did was with my mom. So she had this, like, little mini shop where she sold clothes and she did her little fashion things. And I always observed how she put things together. And then they bought me this small little Barbie, and that's when I just started to, like, just mimic people watch, and I'll start dressing my Barbies and just enjoying the idea of you can actually be creative with clothes, the art of clothes. Mm-hmm. Am I making sense?
No, you're making sense.
So that, for me, was how I started. And then to get where I am now is I just like to look good. I feel like your first impression is a big deal for me.
First impressions are everything.
Yeah, so for me, that's something that I look at, because I'm a Christian, so I look at my body as a temple. So it's like, I want, when somebody looks at me, like, you look put together. Because you wouldn't want to attend a church that's, like, messy, with you, like, papers everywhere. So that's how I look at my body, and that's where fashion came in place. It's like, okay, I want to style. If I want to look good, I have to visualize myself as a temple of Christ. How would you want to represent Christ? You want to dress good. You want to smell good, So that's how I got it.
And then when you think about first impressions, too, it's like you never know who you might see that day. So you got to look sharp. You got to be on point.
It took me a while. Like, it kind of, like, fell off the cliff when we moved to Proctorville, because Proctorville is a country. And when you surround yourself, because when we came from North Carolina, when you come from a city, and not just that, a more diverse place, elementary school, little girls come into school with, like, little mini heels, and they're going to class. You have sixth graders who, just like you see on TV, where, like, them, I don't want to say a hood, but the public schools where you have girls wearing heels. That's how it was in North Carolina. So being well-dressed was a big deal. So when I moved to Proctorville, it was like being surrounded by people who woke up and just went to school, sweatpants. I kind of got into that behavior of waking up, going to school with sweatpants.
Yeah.
And then when I came to Dayton, it was like, you can't do that, because Dayton High School, I went to Stebbins. So it's kind of like, they still had that moments, but they also had girls who looked good in school. So I had to pick myself back up. It's like, you never know who you will meet along the way. And people literally judge you based off of what you wear.
They judge you off your appearance.
Yeah, when you come to school with sweatpants, like, but when you come well-dressed, there's some girls that be, like, coming next to you, like, hey, how are you doing? What are you doing?
It can spark a conversation.
It does.
It can put you in a, like, so crazy. It can make you feel good about yourself, too. When you look good, you feel good, and it shows. Like, when you just put on anything like some sweatpants, it's just like, all right, obviously, you walking, man, I hope nobody's talking to me today. Yeah. I'm not trying to be bothered, none of that. But when you wake up, like, oh, man, I'm killing the day with this outfit.
And in my culture, you have to look good.
Mm-hmm.
My parents raised us in a way where, like, even if you're going to Walmart, I want you to put on some nice jeans, some nice shoes, and a clean shirt, and you better iron that shirt. Like, you're not walking out the house.
Gotta iron your clothes, man. Y'all be out here wrinkly, man. Like, iron your clothes,
just
please.
A couple of days ago, this happened Sunday. My mom was asking me to help her cook. And I went upstairs, and I'm like, okay, let me take off my nice dress and put on, regular slacks. and they were wrinkled, and she made me go back upstairs and iron them. So it's like, it's just where I was raised. Like, you can't just walk out the house just like that. You gonna wear sweatpants. Them sweatpants better look nice. They better look fitted. Even if they're not brands, I need to see that they were folded nicely, that it's like your first time wearing them. So that's just how I was raised too. So,
but that's a good thing though. Like, some people like, nah, why you, like, some people might consider that doing too much, but if that's how you were raised and that's how you are, I feel like people should be like that. Like, not everybody's gonna care. Not everybody's like into like fashion and whatnot, but like, you got to represent yourself. And not only are you representing yourself, you represent your family. You represent, if you have a boyfriend, if you have a girlfriend, you're representing them, how you look, just your overall appearance. And, you represent yourself.
It always bugs me when people are like, I'm not dressing up to please people. It's not about...
Do it for yourself.
Yeah, it's not about pleasing people. It's about how you see yourself. If you see yourself as a woman of value, you would dress like a woman of value. If you see yourself as a CEO of something, you would dress like a CEO. Because you never know who you might bump into. Like, the person that might change your life, the person that might change your life might be the person you might bump into at Walmart. So it's like, if you bump into that person at Walmart and they come to your work, they come to your work and they don't know that you work there, it's like, dang, that's how, well, she don't look like that when I first saw her.
Exactly.
So for me, it's always like, I have to make sure that, especially when you're showcasing fashion, when you're talking about fashion, people wait to see how do you look like off camera.
They want to see you slip one time. They just want to catch you slipping one time.
They want to know if you got holes in your socks, what's going on. It's like,
throw away them socks with them holes, man. Please.
Literally.
Please throw away the socks with the holes. But yeah, they want to catch you slipping one time, and you got to stay consistent and persistent.
There are days where you just want to like go to Walmart and not care, but like, as soon as I step, I'm like, go back and change.
Because like you said, you literally never know who you might run into. And like we said, first impressions are everything. So, you doing the fashion, you putting out content and all that. So you kind of talked about this when I asked you, tell me about yourself and whatnot. But, to get back to that, anybody can just style themselves, but in order for you to have the confidence to make content, to teach other people, okay, this is how you compare this up, and this is how you can do this. This is something that, hey, you might not know that you could do when it comes to just styling certain things. You talked about, just growing up where you grew up and, living where you live, and they didn't have, like, any content like that, but a lot of people wouldn't have the courage to, okay, I'm going to get on YouTube and I'm going to put out this content, because I commend anybody who puts out content, because it takes confidence to be able to record yourself, edit the video, and then be like, okay, send and just...
And keep going even when you feel like people are not watching. That's
that's the biggest thing.
For me, it's like, you might, like, you make a video and you're like, this is it. This is the one. And then you upload it, you're like, ugh. I thought this was the one.
Nobody watched it. Oh, trust me, I know it. But it's just, what keeps you going to, you might have those moments like that. What keeps you going to be like, all right, you know what? Even if people aren't watching right now, I'm going to still stay consistent, because, like I said, I commend you on your consistency. It's something I need to work on. You constantly upload and you constantly putting out content to Instagram, and whatever else platform you use to put out content. You're being consistent, and a lot of people, they may put something out and they fall off, or they put something out once a month or something like that. People can respect consistency. So what keeps you going and what keeps your drive to be consistent?
What keeps me going is what I have envisioned for myself.
And what would that may be, if you don't mind sharing to us?
I see more than just YouTube.
Okay.
I see me being a brand, or a face of a brand, or one day creating my own brand. So I'm using YouTube as an outlet for me to show people, like, it's not necessarily about the numbers. It's more about who I can reach. So I have this thing where I tell myself, even if it's one person, to me that's enough. So the thing that gets me going is that idea of, you're creating content And most people, when they create content, they think about the engagement. But when I'm creating content, I'm thinking about that one girl who doesn't have a mentor, who needs help with how to look appropriate for her age. Am I answering your question?
No,
I
yeah,
feel like
perfectly.
I'm like,
Keep going.
Yeah, and I'm looking at that one person who doesn't have a sibling, who doesn't have a mom who can guide her to a direction that she needs to go in life. Mm-hmm. So just having that idea of, let me rewind that real quick. I like to people watch. So
I do too. I admit it. I do too.
I like to people watch.
I'm very observant. Like I will, whether a person knows it or not, I'm just observe your habits and just kind of see how you move and maneuver. And I'm a firm believer of, you're gonna make mistakes in life, but you don't always have to make, like, you can watch somebody else and like see what they're doing and realize, okay, I shouldn't do that, because if I do that, then it's gonna lead to that. So why even put myself in position? Some people are like, hey, you gotta go through it to learn from it. No, I'm gonna just watch you and see you do something that I
everybody to people watch. Like, my dad thinks it's weird. I think it's like the best thing you can do.
I'll be at the mall somewhere eating, and I'm gonna just people watch.
Just people watch.
And all right, so like this is random too. When I'm people watching, I kind of like just envision and picture like how their life is on a day-to-day basis. It's like, okay, dang, I just seen this person. I'm probably never going to see them again. Like, I wonder what they do. Like, are they a good person? They may be a serial killer. This person looks so happy. They may only have one day to live.
But like, do you know what's crazy? When people watch, is like when I see like this person just everything they got on just off. I be thinking, I wonder if their house is clean. Like, that's just me. Like, because I feel like if this person looks this nice, or if this person looks this off, I wonder if they did their bed. Like, it's just weird. I have crazy thoughts. But back to what I was saying, I like to people watch. So my idea of like what gets me going is when I watch somebody, or if I'm at a job interview for something and I see what you have on, I'm like, yeah, she doesn't know that it's not appropriate to wear this at a job interview. Or you're wearing an outfit that you wore at the club to a professional setting or at church. So for me, it's like, I want people to know that, there are certain places where you can look good and still represent yourself as a respectful woman. Am I making sense? Or I don't know. It's just the idea of helping a woman who never grew up with that mentor is what keeps me going. I don't really have I want to live the best life for myself. I just like helping someone because I didn't grow up with an older sister. So most of my how did I do it, or how did I get where I am now is just by watching those who had an older sister. But now that I have a little sister, I've observed that she watches me. So it's like I use her as my motivation to teach her the things that I wasn't taught when I was growing up her age. So it's like...
It's crazy you brought that up, too, because I'm the only child. So... it's certain stuff you can ask your parents about, but not having that big brother or big sister that I can, like, go to about certain stuff, I kind of had to learn on my own. So that just had me just in the house, YouTube and just random stuff, trying to figure it out. And it's crazy that you said that, like, being that mentor that a person may not have, by watching your videos and just learning day-to-day stuff. And, it's so crazy. YouTube, like... I've learned so much off YouTube that, like, I wouldn't even have known about just off the strength of me typing in a few questions. And I say this all the time, too. If you have a question or you want to learn about something, man, Google and YouTube is free. Like, it's free. Like, you can literally learn anything you want to off of YouTube. You can learn how to fix something. You can learn how to do this and that. I guarantee you, anything that you're thinking right now,
you learn on YouTube.
Type in YouTube and put a question mark at the end. It's going to be videos popping up. You search and figure out what you want to look at, like, and it's right there.
Like, I get questions all the time, like, how do you edit? Like, I had somebody DM me, can you teach me how to edit? And you don't want to come off rude because those people watch your videos. So it's like, just go to YouTube. You don't want to do that. So, like, I'm more of I'll tell you a little bit, and I'm like, here's the link to where I learned. Because everything that I learned is from YouTube. All these, like, weird cuts that I do in my videos is from YouTube. So I feel like, I don't know, because I'm a content creator, people feel like they get too lazy to want to
So
search
I
it
can
themselves.
admit I'm lazy too. I was supposed to been like look at this Photoshop and Adobe like program on YouTube, but it was like 3 hours long, and I'm like, I'm not sitting and watching no 3 hour long video. But then if I ask somebody like, oh, how do that could have been in that video, but I was just being too lazy to
I
not
don't watch.
like.
That's the crazy thing. Like,
So what
you
do
mentioned
then?
you mentioned the Photoshop thing. I do photography and I edit as well. But when it comes to watching things, I'm one of those people, I don't read instructions. I figure it out as I go. So like if I download like Adobe Photoshop, I'm very curious to the point where, like, I would just keep clicking.
Okay.
As I'm clicking, I'm like,
No, yeah, just seeing like,
and
okay,
I'm
what
like,
does this do? What does this do?
If I get stuck somewhere, then I'll be like,
Okay, I may need to.
I might need
YouTube,
help. Let me
Google
go
this.
and check it out. And if I do go on Google and I'm like, I see that you wrote a big paragraph, I'm like, let me just go back and try to figure it out until like something breaks down, and then that's when I'm like, okay, let's just sit down and watch.
It's so
the whole
funny
thing.
because, like I said, anything you want to learn or know how to do, it's literally you just Google it, or you can just ask social media. Hey, I do this yesterday, last night. So I've never opened up TikTok.
Really?
Yesterday was
You're missing out.
Look, I just downloaded it yesterday, and I made a profile. So hopefully I don't get addicted, because everybody says,
oh my God.
everybody says once you download TikTok you'll get addicted. But yeah, I just made an account and finally opened up the app. I've been had it like downloaded, but I've never opened it up and got on there. But
not even seen that one. Your friends haven't sent you like not one TikTok.
I mean, no, I see TikToks all the time, like on Instagram and Twitter and all that.
Oh,
but I haven't
just violated.
Yeah, I haven't been on
TikTok on Instagram.
Yeah, I haven't been on there. But I was last night. I was trying to figure out, because I see like videos that people repost on Instagram, Twitter, all that. Like say for instance, you're like it's like screen recording, but you're looking at your screen, but it's your face, and you're like reacting to like whatever's on the screen. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. It's like green screen. So I didn't know it was called green screen or whatever. So I'm trying to figure out like, can somebody please help me? How do you do this? Because I want to start doing that. Like
what did you call it before?
So what was I probably deleted it. Let me see what I
hope you didn't ask your friends like, hey, what's that?
I said, what's the filter on here that lets you record your screen, but it shows your face like you're reacting to the screen? I be seeing people do TikToks like this. I said, somebody please help me. But yeah, I said that. But no,
you broke it down into a definition.
Oh yeah, because I mean I had to get in as detailed as possible. And side note, if you're on YouTube or if you're on Google, get as detailed as possible with your questions, because it may be that one little chunk of boom. That's like when you try to search for a song and you're
that's how people find you on YouTube, actually, with the description box. Like, people overlook the description box.
So I need to get a little bit more detail with the description.
So that's how some of my videos went viral, because like when people type on Google, they do exactly what you did. So if you write down in your description box, I'm making a video, like let's say for instance, I did a hair tutorial. I'm like, okay, this video is about how to put your hair in a ponytail with thick hair, natural hair, kinky hair, whatever. When somebody's typing it and they press enter, your video will pop up because of what you listed in the description box.
Wow.
It's not necessarily the title matters. The title is big.
Oh yeah, I learned title and thumbnail matters, and
but the description box is what really gets Google to put your videos out there when somebody does type it on Google.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So you learn something new every day. You just learned something. You didn't know that either. You watching this, you didn't know that. But yeah, like, so it's so crazy. I didn't know what to do, blah blah. I got on TikTok though, and I just was boom. It said green screen, so I was like, wow. Told me right there, green screen.
Did you record anything?
I didn't record it on TikTok. I went on Instagram and got the app green screen, but yeah, I haven't made my TikTok debut yet.
TikTok can get very.
They're not ready for it. Do you create content on TikTok?
I try, but I'm not as consistent as I am on Instagram.
Okay.
Like, I've created a few, and a few went viral for just being consistent.
It's work,
I'm just
man.
not
People don't understand
everywhere
it's work.
platform type of person.
Yeah.
And I have my sister-in-law. She's my manager. I know you talked about that earlier. You don't have like
man. Everybody got managers but me. If you man, soon come, man. Soon come.
She's the one that because she graduated with the business major and she loves the whole analytics thing. She loves searching for stuff like that. And she gave me an advice. She was like, I think you need to expand. You need to get on TikTok. Is hot right now. And I try to get on TikTok, but it's like I get overwhelmed with too much. Mm-hmm. I'm so used to creating on YouTube, and then I have to, figure out I can't post the same thing I post on YouTube on Instagram. I have to figure out a way to get people engaged on what I posted on YouTube. True. And then you want me to switch up and then go on TikTok. I've had some videos on TikTok that went viral, but it's like you just have to be consistent. Mm-hmm. And I'm not at that level because I have a blog, and then I have a website, and then I style on the side, and then I have a YouTube. That's just too much for me. I just can't.
It's a lot of work. I shouldn't, but I neglect Facebook. I'm not on Facebook. I'm not active on there. I need to be on Facebook. Everybody keeps telling me that, but it's just like I'm already trying to figure out Instagram, Twitter. I'm still, posting stuff on Snapchat.
You don't have a Facebook?
I do have a Facebook, but I'm not active. Like, I don't post. The last time I posted something on Facebook probably was like a year ago. Like, I'm not active on Facebook. And
I'm not either. I'm just, for me, Facebook is a family thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a family thing. But, that's still another platform that can get you reached out by who.
It is. So, it's just, I'm African. That's a whole different place right there. Like, I don't want no uncle from Paris calling my parents like, you see what your daughter did? Like, they're nosy. It's like a whole different.
That's kind of where I'm at with it about my content too. It's just like certain content that I put out. I don't want to have to explain myself or why. Like, I'm grown. Like, I don't need to, like, and it's just you got those certain people that aren't on Instagram or Twitter.
And Africans, I'm African, but it's like they're a
little bit more strict.
Yes, they see college as if you're not a lawyer, if you're not a doctor, if you're not an engineer, what else can you be in life? Mm-hmm. So because, I'm like, my parents are a little bit more Americanized. So because I didn't pursue the medical field career, I started off as a biology major. And then, you know how, like, freshman year is, you get to get into the intro classes. So when I got into the intro classes, I had mass media or media studies as one of my intro classes. And I already knew that I wanted to be in front of camera. That's me. I'm a talkative person. I'm pretty sure you're tired of me right now.
Hey, you came here to talk. I don't mind a good conversation.
So when I got into that class, I was like, this is me. I feel comfortable. I know this is me. Mm-hmm. So just by switching my major, it's already she's a communication. Why don't she pursue something that gives her money, that makes her money? Yep. So, and then on top of that, you graduate with the communication major, which my parents are very supportive. So it's like, because they know that I'm trying to, get into the whole broadcasting field. So for other people, it's like, she graduated with the communication major. What's she going to do with that? Yeah. And then they see you on YouTube? Yeah. Like, you wasting life right now, sweetheart. Yeah. I need you to go into medicines or something. Go law school. Mm-hmm. So it's like, for me, when I post content, I have this, I'm very clear on who I want to see my videos. So I have, like, aunties that I have on a block list. I'm sorry, Mom. But I have my aunties on my block list, and I have uncles on my block list. And I'm just like, before I post this, let me go to my little block list and select who I want to see. So I'm just not as active on Facebook like that because of that reason right there.
What I learned too, man, it's just you can't let anybody tell you what to do with your life. Mm-hmm. You obviously be respectful. Don't get me wrong, be respectful, but you only got one life to live, so you want to be happy living the life that you were blessed with. So it would be a detriment to me, and I would be miserable if I was trying to be somebody I wasn't. If I was trying to do things to please other people when I'm not pleasing myself first. Like I said, you have one life to live. So why would I want to do things that I'm not passionate in?
And that's how
why would I want to, like, be involved in things that don't interest me when I have one life to live. We all want money and all that, you know, we all want success, but in reality, we want true happiness. Like, we want to be able to be happy doing what we do and, you know, make a good career out of it. And you can't do that. Like, say if you went that route, you know, pursuing a medical field, you would have been miserable. You're getting good money, but you're not genuinely happy.
My dad was actually the one that noticed that. He was like he had this thing where it irritated me because he kept on asking me the same thing. Like, are you sure you want to be a doctor? And my mom was like, yeah, Dad. Like, I grew up around, my mom's a nurse, so it's like I grew up around the whole medical stuff. It's like my first little Barbie doll had a little doctor thing. I'm like, yeah, I want to be a doctor. But the more he started to ask me that, like when I go to school, I'm always like, the classes are boring for me.
Man.
I don't think I could sit here another hour or another minute just reading, looking. I love biology, but seeing myself consistently at the hospital and not being able to enjoy my life was what was actually draining for me. Like, not even having the career, not starting the career was already stressful for me. So when I actually made a decision, because I remember when I switched to communication studies, I started off with mass communication at Sinclair. And then when I came to Rice State, I don't know what happened. When I came to I started off with communication studies, thinking that it was mass communication because Sinclair didn't have it.
Yeah. So
when I came to Rice State, I was still under communication studies, but I'm thinking it's in the broadcasting field. So I took all my classes at Sinclair and they gave me the credit for communication studies, liberal arts. But to go into the broadcasting field, they're like, you don't have enough credit for this. So it kind of it pushed me into a freshman when I'm actually a sophomore going into a junior. Man.
The whole college politics and so just how that works is just, that's a whole nother conversation.
So when I switched my major, I didn't tell my parents because I thought it was going to be like this disappointment. Like, why is she not in the medical field? Because my brother graduated under medicine.
Oh, man.
So it was like, so I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to tell? I'm going to tell. So I went home and I was like, I'm a communication major now. And that was like months after the semester was over. It's like, what? And my dad heard that. He was like, really? I'm like, oh, I didn't think you guys would be happy. Hey, so it's just all about good that they just pursuing yourself.
No, that's good that they support you for sure. Yeah. All right, to wrap things up, though, I have to ask you this. Obviously, you create content to help people. So there may be a person out there right now that's watching this video. You know, they're lost. They're trying to figure it out. They're going through it. Life is just taking a toll on them. They're ready to give up. You know, they're losing hope. What is something that you could tell that person right now, you know, to uplift them? You know, just some words of encouragement for anybody watching.
I would say, one, don't lose hope.
That's important.
You can't fear. I can only speak off of my experience. So for me, I had those moments where like I felt like, you know, where is this gonna go? I don't know how far this will go. There were days where I'm like, let me just stop because I feel like it's not gonna go anywhere. But when I look at my goals and I look at my dreams, like I write things down for myself. So when I look at those notebooks that I write things down, it reminds me on why I started. Like I have a purpose. So if you're at a point in your life where you feel like it's not moving, nothing is moving, nothing is, it's
stagnant.
Yeah.
You're running in place.
Go back to your purpose. Know why you wanted to do it and why you get happy when you are doing whatever it is that you're doing. So my purpose was I see myself being a face of a brand. I see myself being that mentor that some females never had or women never had. My sister hates when I say females.
Man, I've been doing that a lot lately too, man. I try to correct and fix myself these days,
like, but it's women, okay?
Yep.
I see myself being that mentor. So it's like I can't stop now because it's like I've already had those people that follow me on Instagram that message me on days where I feel like
Man,
I'm not doing anything. They're like,
it.
yeah, they're like, man, you are really like helping. Like, I really love your personality, and I really like what you do. And it's like you're thinking to yourself, just because the numbers are not showing, you're not doing anything, but people are seeing you. So my advice would be, don't give up. If it's YouTube, YouTube is a process. It's a long time process. It's not something that happens overnight. So if you are trying to do something just because it's trending, I think YouTube is like a trend right now.
Oh, it's definitely a trend right now.
Everybody thinks, you know, just because they do something, let me go on YouTube. And later on the path, later on along the way, I feel like that trend is going to fall off. And the people that are really passionate about what they do are the people that's going to stay on there. So definitely don't look at what you're going through right now. Think about where you want to go, because right now is just temporary. What you're feeling is temporary. Your downfalls are temporary. If you stay with what you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to do will come. Hopefully that answers. Sometimes I be talking, I'm like, are you making sense?
You made perfect sense. I'm gonna throw my little 2 cents in there. Let the bad days and the good days like kind of level out, because I can speak for me as well. I'll have good days, where I'm getting good response and good feedback. People proud of me. Boom, I'm feeling good. I'm on cloud 9. And then the days where I'm discouraged and I'm doubting myself, it just feels like none of the good ever happened, and it's like. It's like, dang, like, should I stop doing what I'm doing? Why am I feeling like this? Am I wasting my time? All this and that. But just yesterday, you were on cloud 9 feeling good. Yeah. So it's like, you can't, like, it has to be you have to realize that there are going to be some bad days and there are going to be good days. But you can't let the bad days, like, get to the point to where, like, you're fully down. Like, it happens to everybody. You have bad days. I have bad days.
Some people don't even see it. Like, they just see the outcome of something. They see, like, that video. They're like, oh, my gosh, you did good. But behind the screen, you don't know how many times I've cried. Like, you don't know how many times I'm like, how is this ever going to happen? Like, even if I do get emails from brands, it's like, what? You just had an email. You talking about you can't do it? Like, what's going on? Like, so
there's been times where I'm editing a video, my computer crashed a couple times. Man, like, all right, I quit. I'm not doing this no more. Like, it's not that I give up.
That could really ruin your whole entire mood.
It can ruin your whole
especially
mood.
When you delete something by mistake. Oh, it's like, dang. But for me, I look at, because people say, you go viral overnight. I don't think. You will go viral overnight, but
in some cases.
But my thing is, the people that go viral overnight, you don't know how many videos they pushed out before they went viral overnight.
That's true.
So I look at, there's an artist, Lizzo. That's her name?
Yeah.
People don't know that she's been on YouTube for almost 13 years, and she's just now hitting fame. So you can't sit there and you say, my life is not changing. Your change might be the next day. So the day that you quit, that next day might have been your hit. Yeah. So that's how I look at it every day when I wake up. It's like, when I'm about to quit, I'm like, I can't quit, because tomorrow might have been, that day where my page just explodes.
You blew up.
Yeah. So if I quit and I miss, because I remember I gave myself a year off YouTube when I started in 2015, because I felt that way. I'm like, I'm creating content. Everybody's creating the same thing. So what makes me different? Even though I knew I was unique in my own ways, it's like, what makes me different? And then just because I left for a whole year, when I think back, I'm like, that whole year, something might have happened. You could have been going hard, and something would have happened. And now I'm looking back, I'm like, I can only push forward. I can't look back anymore. So I just have to keep going. So my advice would be to keep going. Don't give up. Stay consistent. Consistency is something that would drain you, but if you have a reason why you do it, and you have a passion for what you do, and you don't do it just because of the hype, or you don't do it because the fame, it will come. What's for you will be for you. It doesn't matter how old you are. What's for you will be for you.
So. Hey, man, y'all better listen to her. She's speaking facts. She's definitely speaking facts. I appreciate you, for stopping by Words of Woods. Long time no see. Before you get out of here, where can people follow you out on social media? Where can they, subscribe to you on YouTube? Or any type of content that you put out, where can they follow you at?
Okay, so my YouTube, I focus on fashion and hair tutorials. I'm starting to get into vlogs, so you can definitely find me on there at Afi AFI. Period. No, Afi Elizabeth. Afi Elizabeth. AFI Elizabeth. And then for Instagram, you can find me at Afi period Elizabeth. And we also do photography, so that's Lens with Action and videography. So you can find me on those 3 platforms. I have another platform.
Hey, keep going. Promote it.
For my fashion consultant page where I style people, I recently created a page for that, which is Style by Afi Elizabeth. And then I'm about to launch my own clothing line pretty soon.
Oh, that's dope.
So, yeah, I've been working on that, and that's Afi Elizabeth Collection. Everything is on my Instagram, so if you just go on my Instagram, you will find all that link. That good jazz in there.
Hey, she's a busy woman. I'm happy she came here today. Hey, she sounds pretty
busy.
She sounds pretty busy.
I've always wanted to be on here. I see people being on here. I'm like, dang, when is it gonna be my turn?
It happened today.
I know.
We made history today.
I kept pushing.
I got her in here before she gets too Hollywood. I tell people that all the time. I like to get y'all in here before y'all blow up. Each person that comes and sits right there, I have so much respect and I believe in them so much. So I'm like, hey, I'll get them in here before they blow up. So hopefully they don't ever forget me. And I should be in good with everybody. That's how I feel. But
that's normally, listen, when I blow up, I'm like, go to that guy.
Hey, man, come to me. Come sit down. Let's have a conversation. But I definitely appreciate you for stopping by. Best of luck to you in all your future endeavors.
Thank you.
Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. This was a good episode, man. I hope y'all learned a lot from today's episode. Until next time, see you later.